Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a daily tarot oracle reading, Tattle Tales from the Vector. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. This is a collective or general reading, so just be aware parts may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you, leave the rest. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it's the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That could give you further clarity as to your situation now. We're going to begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck. And we have Temperance. So Temperance is talking about having patience to be able to stay on your divine path, your path of glory. A lot of people feel that the Temperance card is actually representing the earth angels that God sent down in human form. They're angels in human form to make the world a better place. This angel is dipping her foot into the universal pool, adding her own special alchemy. And then she has her left foot grounded on earth. And you notice where her foot is, there's flowers growing. So this is talking about staying on your divine path to make the world a more beautiful place by being part of God's plan. And we have the Two of Swords here. The Two of Swords represents someone who is in the energy of a closed mind. They can only see two ways to do something, either this or that or this, my way or the highway, that kind of energy. And so this person, it's really exhausting them. They're leaking energy. And in their upper body energy, we can see that they have their arms crossed over the heart, which represents protecting their heart. And also the right arm is holding the left arm back, and this represents your logical mind wanting to control your intuition, basically. So what needs to happen here is you need to be able to be in a position where you're using both your logical mind and your intuition. These swords are double-edged swords. They represent your mental intelligence, your discipline of your mind, and your ability to, think things through, basically, and find creative solutions by adding your intuition to the situation. Okay, and then we have this energy here of the Chariot coming in. So the Chariot represents justice coming in from the spiritual realm down to the earth. Part of it, though, is just like you being on your destined path is justice. So it's talking about when you're in the Chariot, you notice there's no reins, there's no need for reins, because the Chariot goes on its own speed in God's good time, and it's like a tank. Tung 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 tung. It just keeps rolling. It's going to run over anything in its path, because it has to get to the destined journey. And you notice this person is leaving the city, which talks about when you're on the Chariot, it can be a little uncomfortable because you're leaving your comfort zone. We have an energy here of the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords, again, are representing your mental intelligence in your mind. You have the subconscious mind, unconscious mind, and the conscious mind. So the subconscious mind is formed by the time you're about 5 or 6 or 7, that kind of age. It is, like when you're a baby, you're like a sponge and you absorb everything in your energy. So the subconscious mind, if you think back, like you can't really remember what happened to you as a baby, and probably not much of anything before kindergarten age. So this is, basically your subconscious mind is made up by your environment when you are young, and also the thoughts of the people who are in charge of your care, who tell you oh, you were like this or you were like that with a baby, and that's kind of what you have to rely on. Nowadays we have videos and more photos and that, but that's taken from the perception of the people that, were in charge of your care. And yet the subconscious mind is heavily imprinted on us, and when we get triggered by something, that's the mind that we tend to rely on, and it's not that reliable, actually. And so we do have also the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is the needs of your soul. And the subconscious or the unconscious mind will become very, very loud if you don't meet your soul's needs. We also have the energy of the 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 conscious mind. I've got a cat on my lap here, and she just loves the reading. So she's got happy feet, and she just is like in the zone. So I don't know if you can hear her purring yet, because I've got a noise canceling mic, but she's making me laugh because she's really, really, you know how cats get when they get happy feet. She's just going a mile a minute here. A cat's the vibration of a cat's purr raises the vibration to a real nice healing energy. So she's doing, this is her job, and she takes it seriously. She came flying in from the bedroom. I was kind of hoping I might get to do a reading without her help this time around. But just so you know, she's working hard for us. Her name is Stella. And so the conscious mind is what you are aware of, you know, what your memory actually holds, your own true experiences. And this represents someone who wants to put the mind to rest so that they can meditate and be able to get, pray and be able to get to some sort of resolution with an issue here. And this is on the window here, we have on the stained glass window, there's the word PAX, P-A-X. And P-A-X sounds... It is, the word means peace. So this is wanting to have peace of mind. And then we have the star energy. So the star is representing when you are in your north node, your north star energy. And so this is when that means you're on your destined path. So she's dipping her foot into the pool here, and she's adding her own special unique qualities and pouring it into the water, and then mixing it together and pouring it out on the land. And this is representing bringing from the what God gave you, you know, your special talents, to make the world a better place here, just like the temperance energy. It's similar energy, but this is more talking about like following your North Star energy. And then this is, okay, so we have some regret or remorse here regarding cups. And so cups represent love. This card right here quite often does represent romantic love, but it can be love of anyone really. And it can also be love of something you love to do or be. And there's remorse here because 3 of these cups have spilt. If you've heard the saying, don't cry over spilt milk, because once it's in the ground, you can't suck it out. But this isn't milk anyway. This is wine in 2 cups. And then there's a 3rd cup, and it has a different liquid in it. And, you know, this quite often can represent regret because there was someone stepped out of you know, they're a couple, and they stepped out of the marriage and were with a third party and maybe got caught or whatever, that kind of energy. Or you've been with someone that has done that. And so you could stand here for the rest of your life, and some people do, just staring at those cups. But this is saying, you know, you need to turn around and recognize, hey, there's still 2 cups standing. Even if this isn't about romantic love, it could be like, you know, something that happened in a business, or you know, just all sorts of things. It could be, you know, that where you got really disappointed and you regretted your actions, and but you have to turn around and recognize, okay, there's still 2 cups standing. I can, you know, I can pick those 2 cups up, walk down the path, cross the bridge over troubled waters, and go to my castle and recuperate. And so this energy, even the castle in the background is half standing and half dilapidated. And that does represent an energy of, you know, is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? You know, how are you going to look at the world? And then we have the 5 of Swords. So the 5 of Swords is representing this energy. This can mean cutthroat energy, like someone who will do anything to win. And, you know, has been in a battle with 2 other people already, and hey, take me on, I'll take on a 3rd as well, kind of energy. This person is fighting because they want to win. And this also, though, can represent a battle within yourself. And remember what I said about these 3 swords here. This could represent, you know, the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind, and the conscious mind, the one he has a handle on. And when those 3 minds come together and plug into your heart's desires, then you can really go for your authentic desires in life. And this is sort of more of a battle within yourself about learning to discipline your mind so that these three minds come together, plug into your heart, and support what you going on your divine path, on the path of your North Star. We have this energy here of the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles represents someone who, he's representing a lot of pentacles here. This is someone who is admired for their business acumen. He's got grapes all over his robe, and the reason why grapes in the tarot represent something that's very hard to grow. It's challenging to grow, but you do it anyway, and he has them all over his robe. So it's just showing that he is a talented business person and can tackle challenging projects and be able to master them. This represents this energy. The pentacle is actually the element of earth. It's represented by a coin because it's talking about health, wealth, and happiness in the 3D on earth. And but it's not, you could have all the money in the world and still not live the lifestyle that you want to be living. So this is talking about having the lifestyle, and it's talking about how learning to invest your time, your money, and your energy, and get a return investment that's fair, and the give and take in life, basically. So quite often the King of Swords or the King of Pentacles will represent someone who's involved in banking, whatever they're involved in business-wise. It would be like they're high up. This would be a head financial advisor of a corporation. It could be someone who's, the financial minister for a federal government, that kind of energy. If it's an accountant energy, it would be someone who's a partner in the firm. And also for financial advisors, the same thing. Someone who is like at the top of their game, basically. And this energy could also represent an entrepreneur that's doing really well and is really admired for being successful. Could be all sorts of energies, but basically it's usually around that kind of energy. And then we have the moon coming in. So the moon card is representing the energy of illusions and hidden illusions being exposed, sometimes and sometimes not. But this is the energy of the full moon and the new moon. The full moon is great, is when you want to make sure you can release everything that's holding you back so that you can really move forward in a strong way. And the new moon is a great time to plant new seeds and move forward, and starting new adventures, new projects, new on the new moon. And so this lobster is climbing out of the water. The water again represents emotions here, and he is making himself vulnerable here to be able to crawl out here and go past this domestic dog and this wolf, and they're both out there howling at the moon, and somehow he has to stay within these two pillars to get to his path of glory, and represented here as well, and not be taken in by the illusions of life, and so that making strong choices when you don't have all the information. The King of Swords is coming in, and the King of Swords represents an energy, again, of your thoughts. The King of Swords represents someone that earns his living, is a professional in some capacity, as maybe someone who uses their words for a living, basically. Words for their living, but it could be vocal, or it could be the written word as well. So this could represent someone who, politicians quite often, and if it's a politician, this is a king, so it could actually be a king, but it could be someone like ruling countries, a president, a prime minister, that kind of energy. And again, he has a double-edged sword, so he understands that words can either uplift people or they can be used as weapons. So this energy is talking about also another example, it could be a surgeon because of the sword here. It could be someone who is an influencer on social media, any speaker type of energy, like that kind of energy. It quite often represents people in the legal field. So, that are in court, it would be a lawyer that, if it's a lawyer, it's a lawyer that's in a large firm that, is at the top. He would definitely be a partner. And then there's the energy also, it could be a best-selling author, that kind of energy. So you get the picture. It's someone that uses their words, and the King of Swords is very, very good with words and understands, that words can be used as weapons and they can be used to uplift people. And that words are cheap unless they're followed by action. And we have a Tower coming in. So the Tower is representing a reality check. So this energy here, it's not really clear. We know you're a star. That's all we know. And you might be this Earth Angel energy, that kind of energy. Otherwise, what's going on here on the bottom row is talking about what's happening in your life right now. And, the energy of that you have the tools, and how are you going to overcome these obstacles that you're up against here. So illusions, and sometimes the King of Swords can represent someone who is a divorce lawyer. And so this energy here could be happening right now. We're going to see here. We'll just keep going and get further into it. It'll show up. We have the Tower. So the Tower is a reality check. And actually the Tower is kind of like the swords. It can have two edges to it. If you've been on your divine path, it can actually be a beneficial thing. Either way, the Tower is very uncomfortable. These two people are falling out of the Tower. Lightning has hit. One of them, though, is looking really shocked, and the other one's kind of like, I was wondering when this was going to happen kind of energy. The Tower is on fire and it's crumbling. And now, you don't have it, you're going to have to rebuild this house to be able to live in it. And this is talking about, these people were going along and pretending everything was all hunky-dory, but it wasn't all hunky-dory. And they weren't listening to their intuition. And so the universe at first will come in with a whisper, hey, you want to take a look at that. And then it'll be like whack you over the head with the frying pan. And you're like, ouch, that hurt. And the universe is saying, yeah, take care of it. Oh, I will next week, but you don't. So then the 2x4 hits and you still don't. And that's when the lightning has to hit. So generally when the Tower comes, you've been getting a lot of messages from your intuition. Hey, you need to look at this, but you just aren't either not paying attention or just don't want to deal with it, basically. And then we have here immature competition. So this is my Mean Girls card. Think of narcissistic cheerleaders. They're on a team and they're watching at the competition. They're watching the other team and they can see, oh, they're way better than us. But they don't care. They have to win. So they'll do what they need to this cutthroat energy here. And if they don't succeed at winning, their mothers will make sure they win. It's that kind of energy. So in reality, when you are competing with anyone, even if it's on a team, and yeah, there's a medal and all of that, but so there is a winner for sure. Having said that, you could, competition is really about you rising to the occasion and being a better version of yourself when you go out each time. If you're just even 1% better than the other team, you're going to win. You don't have to be 100% better or 10% better. Just 1% is fine. And so if every time you go out in a competition, regardless of whether it's with a team or yourself, you can go out there and say, I'm going to do one thing today in this competition that's going to be just even 1% better than I did it last time. And that might be what brings the whole team into a position of winning. And so competition is something you can really learn from, and it's a good way to learn. If you learn from the competition, it's way easier on you. And so that you can look at the competition as your enemy, or you can look at the competition as your inspiration. And then we have the energy. Okay, so this is saying there was disappointment in love, and this is talking, quite often, again, if this isn't romantic love for you, this could be like in a business project or something else that you've been working on, and you're really disappointed in maybe the people you were working with or whatever. But generally, this does mean romantic love. So this person has gone to high ground to, basically pout underneath this tree because things haven't been going that well in the romance department. And these 3 cups lined up can represent maybe there was 3 relationships in a row that just failed. And he's like, the universe is offering, hey, take another cup of love. And he's like, I'm not taking another cup of love. Look at his body language. He's like, I was so disappointed, and if this is another cup of the same old shift, I'd rather just not have anything to do with love for the rest of my life. And he looks quite young here, so that doesn't make sense. He's just punishing himself. So this is talking about, it also could be someone that you gave 3 chances to, and they're asking you for one more chance, and you're like, no, 3 strikes, you're out, I'm out of here. That kind of energy, I'm done. Or it could represent here, like I said, is a 3, a third party energy. And, there's 3 cups here instead of 2. And also sometimes on top of that, this could be a gift coming in of a baby, because babies are always a gift regardless of how they come in. Every baby is a gift from God, and it's a true, like there's nothing more special than that gift. Having said that, if it's not yours, it's a little bit disappointing, to say the least. So sometimes it can represent that kind of energy as well. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. So the Ace of Pentacles is saying, hey, the universe is saying, I'm trying to make your life better here. You've been staying on your path. You've been disappointed. You've had a lot of shift happen here. And, but now things are shifting, and you deserve, for all the good work that you've put on and your efforts to be able to stay on your divine path, despite everything else that's happening around you. Here's a reward of a pentacle. And this is a big pentacle. So this is talking about having a beautiful lifestyle, and, just keep staying on your path, and this is going to come in for you. It's a special gift from God and the universe saying congratulations for staying where you are. And this card here, the 3 of Wands, quite often, like this represents someone who's standing on the edge of change, basically. And he is really wanting to move forward in a different way. And you notice how the sun is shining on the water here, and it's making it golden. It kind of reminds me of the yellow brick road kind of energy. And so this is, the sun is God. And so this is God shining the light on this. There's ships sailing here. And so this person is like thinking, I want to hop on one of them babies and go for an adventure. I want out of here. I want something different in my life. And so if you've been in a relationship that has been really rocky and you haven't been treated well in that relationship, this quite often can represent sort of going through the portal and saying, okay, I'm leaving my couple days behind here right now. And he has his right hand holding this wand here. The wands are the element of fire. And they're made of wood because wood feeds fire. And this is feeding his passion to have a better life, a new, like that. The aces always bring in this energy of wanting more, and wanting to do things in a new way. So this is quite often my card. It turns out that quite often it comes up that this card represents someone who doesn't want to be in a couple anymore and wants to become single. And, hop on one of those ships sailing by and catch it and, seize the opportunity, basically. We have an energy here of this. The 3 of Pentacles represents that you are at, like with this kind of money involved here. This quite often represents an energy of you have really mastered your craft. And a lot of times, like this card can represent someone who has something really unique to offer, like at a star level. Think about, the entertainment industry, someone who's maybe like a really good actor or actress, and now the director wants them to be the lead role, basically. This is the energy of maybe someone who has a beautiful voice and can sing, or a talented musician. And your record producers are wanting to sign you up, basically, like that kind of energy. Or talent scouts are out there. You're a beautiful model, and you're amazing on the runway, and now one of the elite firms is asking you to come and model for them. It could be the energy of, it's a special talent coming in. It could be like you have been working on something, and it's important invention or something to do with research that really could bring in a lot of good, will to the entire world. and people are wanting to collaborate with you now and bring and you know, exchange funds with to support you, that kind of energy. So this is a really good thing to be recognized. You're in an elevated position, which is what this bench is. This is a sculptor, and these people are coming with plans and saying, we've seen your good work here, and we would really like to hire you to do a project for us. And the important thing to remember here is that you have to make sure, like, you have to recognize you're in an elevated position. So if you're in this elevated position, a lot of times people don't realize that, you know, something that they're so good at, other people aren't. And they, but when you are that good at it, and it's so easy for you to really get into that energy, sometimes you don't understand the value of it, how valuable it is to other people. And then you end up selling yourself short and you hear about this all the time, and we're seeing it played out in the world scene right now, like worse than we've ever seen it played before, about people being taken advantage of because they're being offered all these opportunities, and it's not a straight up deal. Quite often, this is because this person is working on stonework here. This is my stonemason card. And so this is quite often secret society energy. And the thing about secret societies is they'll come to you, and yeah, they do admire your work, and they do want you to come work for them. And it may even be a pretty good deal. But the thing is, when you sign up with secret societies, you have to understand that they have rituals, and you know, they have their special handshakes, and they have all their secrets, and you have to be at a certain level to know what what's really going on in behind the scenes. And this energy can be very, it's about the group. And so when you sign up with them, you are agreeing to put the needs of that society above everything else, above your spouse, above your children, above your work, everything. And you have to be really careful with contracts like this, because they can really end up being something that you really regret. We have the energy here of the Eight of Pentacles. So the Eight of Pentacles, again, it's talking about the health, wealth, and happiness, your lifestyle, but it's all, this particular card is all about making money. Like this is the only card where the person is actually working on the physical coin and pounding it out, like actually making money. And following this card, it could be making like counterfeit money, or money laundering, or schemes like that. So you have to be really careful what you're signing up for with this card following this card. And this represents an energy of, you've either started a project, you're on the second pentacle and you have 6 to go, or you've already completed 6 and you have the 7th and you have the 8th to go. But this is about being really focused on making money. And sometimes that could be illegally, and that's why you have to really check out any contracts that you sign yourself up for before you really, have King of Swords take a look at it and make sure that the contract is on the up and up. Especially right now, we have Mercury in retrograde, and that's infamous for causing problems in communication. And it's also sort of saying, like, this could be a really good deal, but it's not in alignment with how you want to live your life. And so, like, they might want you to work 80 hours a week, and you have 2 young children, and you don't want to be away from your children and your spouse that long. And you have to make those decisions. It's lifestyle over money, basically. And then, yes, we have the 9 of Pentacles coming in after this, and this is saying that it's really important that you understand this, the give and take. What are you investing in? Who are you investing in? How much of your time, money, and energy are you willing to put in? What's the return? The give and take of the situation, and making sure this is very balanced. First and foremost, this is talking about a ratio. And if you've ever heard of Nikola Tesla, the genius, he would say, if you only knew the beauty of the 369, then you would have the key to the universe. And so this energy is talking about having that ratio. So she always has her hand on 6 pentacles of the 9 here. because she knows that she has to, that's what it's going to require for her to run her household, to run her businesses, to make sure that she has extra money in case something breaks down, that kind of energy. And then she has the 3 pentacles over here. And these 3 pentacles represent the energy of, extra. So this could be maybe one of these pentacles she's going to use to put in more risky investments with a bigger return. Maybe charity and saving, having a slush fund in case family needs some help, or maybe going on a vacation or something like that. And she has the falcon here, which is showing that she has the foresight to be able to make strong decisions about the give and take and what she's willing and who she's willing to invest in. And this is talking about wanting a peaceful life. So this energy is talking, perhaps you've been in this situation where you've signed up for something now, and that's what this reading's about. Maybe your partner left you because all you were doing is working, because you signed a contract and you have to get it done and you're not getting paid as much as you thought you would, that kind of energy, and it can really put a major strain on relationships. So this is talking about wanting to get out of the water here is rough, and because it represents being in chaos and being like really volatile emotions, and wanting to move off to sail on to, like this energy here, to smoother waters, to peace. And this represents doing that by getting back on your divine path, on your path of glory, and being in that energy of the sun. And so this is talking about digging deep to do so. This pole, for this conveyor to get that boat moving forward, it's going to require, he has to dig very deep into the mud here to be able to push it off, to get it out of the rough waters. And this is, sometimes this can actually be talking about, there's this young child with adult, and there's no baggage at all. And so sometimes this is talking about your inner child needing healing. And that's what this energy is about. And maybe the reason, like, you have a tendency maybe to, be a workaholic or something like that, because when you were younger, you promised yourself that you would always have a lot of money. But sometimes when you have a lot of money, and if you have to put, like you have no time for your family, your children are only young, for a very short period of time. It's that kind of energy. There is a new cup of love coming in after this. I feel like this divorce lawyer here, I feel like this is a divorce lawyer, and perhaps you've let go of this relationship, because now this is having the courage to be able to face the situation. And now this is moving into your heart's desires. And right away we have the Knight of Cups coming in. So the Knight of Cups is the knight in shining armor that you read about in novels and see in the movies. And he's coming in with a cup of love. Sometimes this cup of love is also an apology. So maybe this is like, okay, you managed to get yourself, with a lawyer's help, to be in a place where you are sovereign again, and you can, you've managed to get away. You want to change. This can actually talk about moving location, maybe to get away from some people, that kind of energy. The reality check may have been your partner saying, you know what, I'm going to leave if this is what I have to put up with, or you saying, I'm leaving because I'm not working my butt off like this, and then having you step out of the marriage and be, with another person, that kind of energy. So I feel like this is a new cup of love, because it was promised here that if you clean this energy up, and if that means leaving the relationship that you're in now, and for some reason I'm getting that this could have been like you were maybe engaged but didn't get around to marrying each other yet. I'm just picking up, that's just my intuition. Yeah, because look at the Page of Wands is coming in, and the Page of Wands is kind of representing someone that's still playing the field a bit. So the Page of Wands, the pages would work for the king and queen in the court, and they would generally start around the age of 7 to maybe 14. And their job would be just to do small tasks around the palace and deliver messages back and forth between people in the palace walls. And then, if they grew up and they were still like doing a really good job of their tasks, and they still, wanted to be there, they could then maybe be considered for knighthood when they were 21, as long as they could afford a horse, that kind of energy. So the Page of Wands is bringing in information. This is communication coming in, just as the knights are bringing, the knights would travel to different kingdoms to deliver the messages. And just like the Knight of Cups, the information doesn't have to be coming in from a male. This can also represent a female, because all of the characters, as well as the king, all of these characters are actually archetypes. So this represents someone who's in their masculine energy, either a female or male in their masculine energy. And so the Page of Wands, the thing about the Page of Wands that you have to watch, when he brings his information in, he loves his wand. He is like admiring it. You can see that there. And so sometimes he's, and he's very passionate. He's got a feather in his cap. Think of a young man like 21, and under. Someone who's just exploring the world. Those pyramids in the background represent the wonders of the world, and him wanting to explore the world and being really enthusiastic and having a really good attitude. It also, he really loves his wand, so it can mean that he's always thinking with his little head. So keep that in mind, and keep, his information with a grain of salt. And then we have this energy of justice coming in. So justice is talking about, from the spiritual realm. This is the veil that represents the curtain, basically, between the spiritual realm and the physical, and the justice coming in from the spiritual to trickle down into the physical. And she's wielding her sword of justice. She's got her right foot sticking out from underneath her robe here. And this is representing she's ready to take action and wield this sword. This is bringing some sort of justice in. And maybe you're looking for some justice in this situation. We still haven't, we have a reward of pentacles coming in, and now there's a cup of love. And at the very, here, the universe was also saying, here's a cup of love, someone new coming into your life that would actually be really good for you, and you would really enjoy the relationship. And so that you can't have that justice until you walk away from what's holding you back. And that's kind of like what I was talking about, the energy of the full moon. So this is talking about, here we have the 8 of Cups, and you can see these 5 are lined up really good, and then all of a sudden we have 3, and there's a gap in between these two. So it can represent this energy here and here. It's the same sort of energy. And so this is saying, I'm walking away, or that person walked away from you. But either way, we also have this, the full moon and the new moon saying, again, use your intuition. And, this is saying, I'm done. I'm not giving this person one more chance. I want new. I want this new energy coming into my life. That's the energy that you're in. And so, you've had it. You're not willing to give anyone another chance. You're not willing to keep working on it. This energy here. You want someone, if you're going to be in a relationship, you want it to be someone that is responsible, regardless of whether that's your, your spouse or your special person, your romantic partner, or is it someone that you're in business with? And then the Hierophant comes in. When you make that decision, then the justice starts coming down to the physical. The Hierophant represents traditional structure. And so the Hierophant is coming in. If you're a religious person, this could represent someone at the top of the church, on a spiritual level. And that could be the Pope, cardinals, bishops, that kind of energy, gurus. If you're more on a spiritual level and you just like to go straight to source, go straight to God and meditate and do that, and just listen for God's word to you, that's, representing that. But that coming in then, and this is on the 3rd dimensional then, representing someone this could be a Supreme Court judge or head prosecutor, someone who has the authority to be able to right some wrongs that are maybe illegal, maybe making money in an illegal way. there's some sort of energy in there about that. So yeah, and so this is saying once that happens, it's a blessing for you, because then you will be in the energy to have true fulfillment, instead of like being in this energy of wanting that and not having it and pretending you do, kind of, to get through your days. It's more like talking about, okay, this is the first this is the first step. You have to let go of what's no longer serving you to be able to be in this energy. And so this represents the energy of start, like the beginning of that fulfillment, like you've really achieved something. It's basically saying like you have the down payment for your castle, but you still have to make the payments. Or maybe you proposed, or you were proposed to, and the answer was yes, but now you have, you're working on the wedding, and then you have to work on the relationship to have a strong marriage. This also can talk about entering the 111-11-11 portal, because we have both these cards here, and wanting to move forward, and this can represent that your intuition is sharp now. So the 111-11-11 portal is something that's kind of a synchronicity, the way the universe speaks to us through synchronicity. And you'll know if you've entered this, because all of a sudden you see 111 and 11-11 everywhere you go. Like for instance, it's easier to explain it this way. You might be sitting at your computer and you glance at the clock and you're like, oh yeah, it's 11:11. I better look up. I have an appointment at 1:30. I want to make sure that I know the address and how long is it going to take me to get there. So you look it up and it's at 111 11th Avenue. And you're like, okay. And then it takes 11 minutes to get there. And you're like, oh, okay. As you're leaving the house, you glance at the clock and it's 1:11. And you're like, wow, that's weird. And then you get in your vehicle and you're driving along and there's a slight detour on your trip there. And the car in front of you has the license plate 111 on it. And this is an energy, like this is a way that the universe speaks to us. And the 111-11-11 portal represents an energy of being the universe trying to tell you, be very careful with your thoughts right now. You're manifesting at a very high level. And what you're thinking about is going to come into being. So you want to keep your thoughts on where you want to go and getting there safely, rather than on the problems getting there. And then it's really weird. You'll start to notice when you have a 111-11-11 moment that you'll catch yourself and you realize, hey, I was having a negative thought. Negative thoughts can be a bad habit that we get into. And we don't even notice anymore that we're doing it. So this is like a check system, so that you can be more, and it's really interesting, because when you see it, then you kind of laugh to yourself and go, okay, I'm gonna, gonna let go of that thought. Don't want to be manifesting that. I want to be manifesting this instead. So this is talking about, all the cups come, the nine, like when you let go like that, and you say, hey, universe, I really do want what I wish for. Then this is saying, okay, like you're even willing to publicly go on a stage and say, this is what I want, this is what I wish for. And so this energy is talking about having a lot of love for what in your life, like love for what you do, love for what your partner, love for the other people in your life, love for your children, love for your career, love for your country, that kind of energy. Like just having a real feeling that return of unconditional love and romantic love and all kinds of love. But it's something you're wishing for. So this is saying stay in the game and really recognize that you need to remain focused here on your goals. Don't get into the problems, being obsessed with that. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles here. So the Queen of Pentacles is holding this pentacle, and she's known for being very resourceful. And so she's in this energy right now of focused on that pentacle, but she can make something out of nothing. And she's also known to prefer quality over quantity. So this is generational wealth, a legacy that you could hand down to your children and your children's children. And so this energy is talking about, she is in that energy of manifesting at a very high level. And then we have the Two of Pentacles. So this is saying, multitasking is really good, and being, juggling is okay. but you don't want to juggle so much. You want to be like her and prefer quality over quantity, because if you juggle too much, then you're going to be like having more quantity over quality work, and then you might have to repeat and do things over again. This also says don't juggle, juggle your options, but never juggle your morals, like someone did down here. And look at this, we have the sun at the very top here. So the sun is representing God. You're on God's path now, and that everything is shifting. This card represents the energy moving in your favor, and bringing sunshine and happiness to the whole reading. So healing, a very healing energy is what I'm picking up here. It's really, really a good reading. It's kind of showing you the way, and like, yeah, we all make mistakes in life, but we don't have to sit there in resentment and, remorse. So this is saying you're on your God-given path that you were supposed to be on when you were a child, which was the overriding theme of this reading. And so we have from the bottom, we have going up to the top and back down. Like this is talking like the past energy of being in this like my way or the highway, or having a closed mind. Nothing's ever going to change. It's not going to get better. And then God stepping in and saying, yes, I'm going to improve your lifestyle because you've been on your path. And then this is talking about, moving forward. Okay, I'm willing to make the changes I need to make in my life to be able to move forward. So you become single and you let go of this relationship that is causing you so much stress. And you go off to calmer waters with God, and then you make that decision, and then that's when the Hierophant can come in and start making sure that justice is served. And then we have this no more juggling morals, not having to deal with that, wondering where all your money's going when you're hard at work, and that kind of energy. The sun is shining on your life because you're on your destined path. And your resourcefulness is really paying off now because you've learned how to do that, and you've learned here how to invest in what and who to invest in, and how much energy and time and money to give each project. You've learned that discernment. So now what you were wishing for is actually coming into reality here. And part of that is romantic love for sure. It's coming in like a partner that actually will honor you, and you can honor them, and you empower each other, and you have peace in your life instead of always wondering, I wonder what they're up to kind of energy. I wonder if they'll do what they said they were going to do this time. That kind of energy. I wonder if they're cheating on me. If you're wondering if they're cheating on you, they probably are. Listen to your intuition. And so this is talking about, you listening to your intuition. That's when you're at your most. And then being able to be in this energy of having this beautiful lifestyle like the king. You might, when you put the work into it, it pleases you. You love your work because your work is like your divine path. So it doesn't feel like work. It feels more like an adventure. Yeah, really good energy. If you've enjoyed the reading up to this point and you're ready to get off here, you feel like, okay, this is all the information I need. Please do give it a like and comment if you've received value from this. I really appreciate it. It helps me build my channel. And consider subscribing. You're more than welcome. I'm going to clarify for you if you want clarification, and I'm using my oracle, and my oracle is Tales from the Vector, T-A-I-L-S, from the Vector. I do have a website, talesfromthevector.com. I started this oracle back in 2007, and I finished all 64 paintings in 2020. There's some really, really big dragon paintings because it's from the Intergalactic Federation of Light, and they're dragons flying in from all sorts of parts of the world and the universe to bring from the future. And they're bringing information about how to get through these challenging times we're in right now. I will, in the description box below, the cards that I'm using have the numbers of the paintings, how they're listed in my gallery on my website. The information is all below. I will write the numbers down below the cards as they come up in the order they come up in, so that you know which ones to look up when you go to my website if you want to take a look at that. I'm planning on bringing it out But you may have noticed that, you know, I have a lot of information on paper, but I want to play with the cards a little bit before I actually bring, write up the book that goes with it. So here we have the Magician energy coming in. And so this is saying, yes, you are on your journey. This is the first card that the Fool, when he starts a new journey, this is talking that you're going to be on a new journey after you clear up some of this, and that new journey is going to be an energetic upgrade for you. We have this energy of the superstar coming in. In case you didn't know it, you are a star. This is confirmation. You're not just a star, you're a superstar. This is about having harmony in your words, like like how I said here, the king understands words can be weapons and words can also uplift you and others. Having the strength and the integrity to stay on your destined path. Sometimes your destined path is more challenging, of course, than taking the easy way out, but ultimately in the end, it is going to benefit you. And we have jealousy. So this is on this. So some people may just be jealous of you because you clearly are a star and maybe you can't see it. You're humble or whatever and you don't notice it, but they're noticing it. And so sometimes people get jealous, and we all do at times. We've all had moments of jealousy. But the energy is, I'd rather be better than bitter. And this is those, you know, those Russian dolls, those wood dolls that one's inside the other. That's the painting that represents this. And then we have anger coming in. This is another karmic space that it's really easy for humans to fall into. I mean, and sometimes there is righteous anger. I mean, you might be angry here. You might not just be remorseful. You might be like pissed off, like, and you have every reason to be. There's something like righteous anger is a thing for sure. Having said that, choosing to stay angry is the gift that keeps on giving, because you can actually pass your anger down from one generation to the other. And you know, we see wars, and we're seeing a war right now, and this can be about this energy of anger, like. Your grandparents were angry and they passed that down to your parents, and then your parents told you, like, we're angry the whole time, and now you're angry and you don't even know what you're angry about, and it was something that happened like 2 generations ago. You don't even know those people, you've never met them, but here you are angry for their benefit and they're not even here anymore. That's the kind of energy you don't want to be in. And then this is saying the moon is going to, this new cycle, we do have a new moon coming in on the 18th, actually, of March. And this new moon is going to be in the sign of Pisces. And so the energy is going to be a little bit more like moon-like. You know, the Pisces sign is about water and emotion, and you know, being in that energy. And the card here says reckless abandon, because if you discipline your mind, and this is W-R-E-C-K, if you're just listening to this, reckless abandon is because, you know, you take hold of your gypsy side, you know, your wild side here, and you don't let it get too far, but you don't become too domestic either, so that you're bored and boring. And then this is talking about sometimes when people get into that energy, we have the devil energy come in. And that's when you, temptation, and this is what we're talking about here. Maybe if your partner is always at work and they seem to love their work more than you, and you're just really like bored. And it's sometimes this could represent an energy of the work actually being the third party, you know, that kind of energy. And so when people get bored, they have a tendency to be tempted, and that's what the devil energy is about. In my oracle, the devil is actually a beautiful hot pink background with a very adorned with Swarovski crystals dragonfly. And she's so beautiful. Well, that's what the devil's going to attract you with. The devil's not going to try and reel you in with the ugly, you know. The ugly comes later. And so you'll never know the truth from the devil, because it's such manipulative energy. And the devil doesn't do his own dirty work. So I always cover the devil with the next card up, and I want to know what minion does the devil send in to do his dirty work for him, or does God come in and stop it? And we have the world. So this is the end of that cycle. Bang. God is saying enough of this energy. It's time to move forward here. get back on the path here and let's get moving here. And so this is talking about the end of a cycle here. And that's the energy of the obstacles that you're coming up against. You're going to have to work through those, and then you're going to move into your heart's desires. And this is where the buck stops, basically, right here. And then we have when the other person when your partner decided to step out and behind your back be in that energy while you're working hard, or whatever version of how this happened. That's when, okay, this isn't acceptable anymore and you need to do something about it. This is dissemination of information. That's when, there's an elephant in the room. And hey, elephants are hard to miss, but you don't see it because you don't want to see it. Like it's, and this can be like about believing in your own press. Like when you, quite often, one of the things that can be the most challenging about this is having those beliefs at all, because when people are trying to motivate you, they'll say, oh, believe in yourself. But from my experience, and I've seen this a lot and I've noticed it with myself, sometimes people have some very limiting beliefs about what they're capable of doing. They might believe that they're unlovable after being cheated on or whatever. They might have a lot of beliefs that actually limit them. So you're better off in having faith in your plan, basically, and having faith that you are, someone that's worthy of having a good life. That kind of energy. And so we do have the energy of Libra coming in, and this is talking about Libra energy is when you are a mature adult and you understand what a commitment of marriage is really about, like how much it's going to take to be successful, and being willing to put that effort in it, especially if you add children into the mix and you're wanting to start a family. That's a huge decision, and a lot of us make that decision lightly. We put more energy into choosing our marriage choosing a car than we do into our marriage partner. And it's true. Like, it's just because a lot of times, love is blind, basically, that kind of energy. I want to point out when horoscope signs come up in my reading, I'm not saying a Libra did it, like that kind of energy. What I'm talking about is each of the signs has its strengths and weaknesses, and we can learn from each of the signs, and we have a little bit of each sign in us. We can look at those planets, we can feel their energy. And so this is talking about being able to anticipate your journey instead of having like expectations that are going to create limitations. And that one of those is believing in your own press, like, oh, I'm not smart enough, I'm not I'm not pretty enough, I'm not talented enough, that kind of energy. And you can tell yourself that enough times that you start believing it. And so this energy is talking about using also to move forward. You need to use your intuition as well as your logic. And this requires you getting into using your logic and intuition together and following your North Star being your path of glory. And then we also have the energy here of Taurus energy. And Taurus is talking about, and this energy here, of learning, especially at the beginning stages here. When the toddlers are always asking, why? And they're so adorable until you ask them to share. And then they're like, And so this is talking about especially giving and taking in love. Taurus is ruled by Venus, and so is Libra. And so this is talking about the difference between a toddler trying to make decisions about love and a mature adult making decisions about love. A toddler making decisions about what they're willing to give and take to make something work, and an adult making decisions. And this is saying it doesn't have to be a certain age or anything, but it's an energy that you're in. And so once you understand that the world is all about give and take, and spiritual people quite often will change the word from take to receive. And it's kind of, I don't really agree with that, because I feel like, no, when you're receiving, you are taking. Like, they'll say giving, you're giving, but you're never taking, you're always just receiving. And that would imply that the universe just randomly says, okay, here, receive this. And it could be someone else's destiny, but hey, the universe told me to receive this, so I'm going to receive it. No, no, no. You're taking what you've worked for. That's the kind of energy. And so the world is the universe is very organized. It's a, the energy is put into order. And so someone who has put the energy and the effort in deserves the reward. We don't have any helicopter parenting in the real world. You may have noticed that. So it's, and sometimes you could put a lot of effort into something, and yeah, you don't receive the reward, but if you take it, you might, if you understand what I'm saying, instead of letting other people take it from you. So you have to put, if you want to participate in a strong future or have a strong future, you have to put your energy into it and participate in it and be there and learn from your mistakes moving forward. This is another tactic that people use on each other and on themselves, and this is about destruction. So some people just really actually like destroying things. You can go back to this toddler energy again, and you think about little kids, like sometimes they just like to wreck things. They don't really have a reason why, they just like to. It's fun, that kind of energy. We have the Hierophant coming in. So this is talking about that traditional structure coming in, and it's talking about sometimes we're too traditional, there has to be a balance between that energy as well. And then we have attachment. Yeah, attachment is the mother of all the karmic spaces, because once we become attached to it, we'll be jealous if anyone comes near it. You know what I mean? That kind of energy. And if we're, angry all the time, that can be really motivating. I used to be able to clean my house really quick, like in 2 or 3 hours, a really big, a lot of rooms, get everything cleaned up. But if I had to get angry to do it, oh, now I've worked hard all day and no one else has done anything, so now I'm going to get angry and I'm going to clean. And for some, it's like a adrenaline rush being angry, but it's really hard on the system, so you really want to be careful with that. And then this is also talking about this transition card is coming up. And so this is saying, again, this... when this energy comes in here, the tower brings in brand new energy. And this is talking about death is also birth, and so it's rebirth. So there is a transition coming in here, and that transition is actually the sun. So let's put that up to the top here. So when I take a picture of it for the thumbnail, it's like, okay, here we go. So this is saying God's in charge here of this plan, and eventually it may seem like it takes too much time or whatever. We don't understand why God has the timing that God has, but we have to just accept it and move forward in that energy. I really enjoyed this reading. I do hope you also enjoyed it. Please do give it a like and comment if you have. And consider subscribing to the channel if you resonate with the energy. I'd be honored if you did so. I'll be back with another daily reading for you tomorrow. Bye for now.